Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly meeting. As usual, if you could please turn on your video if you're in a safe situation, as in not driving, not doing anything that requires your full attention to avoid losing a finger or your life. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of practice for buyers consultations. So it'll make it all the more critical to be on video, or at least on voice, able to talk with your group. We're going to be practicing how to have that first conversation with a client or a lead that you're trying to convert to a client. Before we get started, are there any questions that people have about the program in general, for me in general? Because we'll be breaking out into small groups and practicing our skills. Sam has a raised hand.
Hey, good morning, Tor. Just with all the talk about AI and all that stuff going on, I was just wondering, do you have to worry about citing your source or plagiarism or anything like that? Like, let's say you used Chat GPT to basically make a blog for you. Do you have to be careful with plagiarism?
That's a good question. I think it's an area there hasn't really been guidance put out on that yet. If it's your ideas that you're putting into this machine and then it's elaborating on your ideas, is that plagiarism? I don't know. I think there will be, and a lot of the folks who are creating this technology are saying we need to have some kind of AI constitution, some kind of bill of rights, digital bill of rights for how to govern, how to use this technology. I think that's coming down the pipeline pretty soon. It's going to be maybe scary for some, maybe exciting for others, but that's a great question. But my answer to that is I don't know, honestly, and I don't think there is guidance on that out there right now. I know some schools are having issues with that, and even like high school, middle school, because kids are using AI to write their essays. And you can type in there, write me a fifth grade level essay on the Civil War, and boom, in 10 seconds, that thing will generate an essay for you. Is that plagiarism? In my opinion, yes, because you're not demonstrating the ability to, write a paper, and society is losing the ability to have original thought by using that. And so, yeah, that's my piece on that. Is it plagiarism? I don't know.
I figured you might say that, so thank you.
Sorry if that's not helpful, but
No, yeah.
Yeah. So my take on that is put some of your own original thought into it. What are the 5 things to keep in mind when you're looking at home buying? List off building permits, financing. Can you actually afford it? Put like 5 points that you think are things to keep in mind, and then you can say generate or elaborate on how these are the 5 things to keep in mind. Or you can write up the full as much as comes to mind when you're elaborating on those points, and then you put revise and rewrite this paper that I wrote, and then it'll make it sound better. As you can tell, as I'm speaking, I'm not really good with words, and so you can use AI to your advantage to be more articulate with your verbiage.
Awesome, thank you.
Anything else? That was a great question. Thank you, Sam. And I did not get to catch the AI masterclass that was given yesterday. I do plan on watching that. I believe Ryan watched it. He said had got some good takeaways from it. So if you didn't catch it, definitely recommend checking that out. Anyone in the audience that has some takeaways from it that wants to share their little nugget of wisdom from it? Ryan?
So I was really grateful for that call. It was supposed to be an hour. And then after that, this dude, Phil Stringer, talked for the next hour after the recording. So I don't even think his pitch was on that recording. I'm pretty sure they stopped the recording, so you won't even catch it. So if you can, I mean, I feel like that is probably the best hour I've spent on Zoom to date in this program. It's so much so that I was really tempted to like spend over $1,000 on that course. I'm not kidding. And I don't have any, I'm not even close to getting revenue yet. So like where it's coming out of personal funds if I would pull that trigger, but definitely worth it. There's a lot of resources out there. I can throw out here, I got my notes. Where are my notes? All
I
right.
was hoping you'd
So
say that the time you spent on Zoom with me is the best time you spent, but I won't take any offense to that. Right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
What are the resources?
No, it was hey, so I took some notes. Aside from look up Phil Stringer, his website, if you really want to go deeper and look at his stuff, it's I will copy and paste it to this Zoom here in a second when I get done talking after that's probably better. But write these down. Durable.com. That's DURABLE.com. It will help you create a web page completely off of AI. I wrote down the ones that I was like very interested in. Remini, REMINI. It's a tool that creates professional headshots for branding. I was really interested in that because the dude like basically showed how you could I could take a photo right now, probably take the headphones off, but I could take a photo right now and it will add like makeup and professional looking photography like effects that I mean is beyond my understanding. And then it will even change like what I'm wearing. So I don't even need to go out and buy an outfit that looks great for the headshot. Like it will put it on there. That's REMINI. And then there's Allwrite, ALWRITE.ai. And that's for write-ups from a video. So it seemed like to me what it was sorry, that's not a very good description, but it stood out to me because it was like you could submit a video and then it would decipher it into text. And then you could edit the text and then it would change the video. So instead of being a video editor, you could literally it would transcribe it into text so that you could also like maybe write a blog about it or whatever. And you just, I don't know, felt better with that instead of like your face on the YouTube channel, because there's other ones out there where you can create an avatar like EXP World, much better looking one, but you can create an avatar that will literally do your YouTube videos for you. It's wild. And if you pay like an additional fee, I think it was actually a big amount, they will create an avatar that looks very close to you. So that was pretty cool. All right, moving on. Synthesis, SYNTHESIS AI. Maybe it's just synthesis. I'm not sure. Google it, probably help you figure that out. Generated video for how-to videos. Sorry, not much of a description, but look into it. I remember writing it down because it was, yeah. Anyways, I don't have much of that.
That's
The
the
biggest
one
one was
where he just-
OpenAI. Sorry.
That was the one where he was able to take his transcript, delete certain things, so that way it was only talking about what he needed to.
Oh,
So
that was
edit
synthesis?
your video like a Word document, basically.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe I have it mixed up between Allwrite and synthesis. So thank you for correcting me on that one.
So I think that was Descript, just to let you know. So Opus Clip, you use the video from Opus Clip, and then you can put that into Descript, and then that'll give you a whole script of everything that was said in that video, and you can delete any sentence you want. It'll also delete the video portion.
Descript. Thanks. I'm writing that down because that one was, I think, like the most like appealing one to me. OpenAI. openai.com. It's got a free version of Chat GPT. I'll just read what I wrote down. To generate list of things to do in Oceanside for me, or to write a blog. You can tell it to make it 700 words, make it a word count. You can tell it to make a list. You can tell it to make it a tweet. You can tell it to translate it into Spanish. You can ask it to give you a how to build video or a write up for that. You can say, write a summary about a book. And he shared, use Chrome. If you use the Chrome browser, go to the Chrome web store and then type web chat GPT, and that will pull up a dark black tile. It was like the second one down from the list. And what that will do is so right now, Chat GPT, I guess, only will pull information up to September 2021. And then you have to tell it via this route to pull new information from the web in real time, like current event stuff. So there's ways around it to get more time sensitive information, because you don't want to write a blog about like what there is to do in Oceanside and it comes up with like a coffee shop that's out of business. You know what I mean? That would be kind of weird. But again, like Zohar was saying before, like anytime you use AI stuff, just, do the human check, proofread it, don't publish it until you do. It's really all I had written down, so I don't want to waste up too much of your time.
Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, as you can see, so one, AI is a very powerful tool. You can use it to save a lot of time, so you're not bogged down. If you're not a good writer, spending hours writing one blog, you can write it in seconds and then refine it, make it accurate, make it relevant to the way you use words. And two, you can use it to your advantage to spend your time on real estate things, on practicing your scripts, on developing relationships with lenders, with contractors that are going to help you get work done, all that stuff. So you can use all these tools to make your website, to make your videos, to make your video scripts. So you don't have to spend hours coming up with the script. That's another tool you can use with these specific websites. And then also just the Chat GPT, write me a script on 5 things to think about when buying a home. And that's if you're having issues with, coming up with ideas. There's sometimes folks ask me, like, what should I do right now? Like I'm a brand new agent. I don't know what to do. And I'd say, Google it, literally Google it. Like, I do not know what to do as a brand new agent. What do I do? There's nothing new under the sun. So you go on Google it, and that's going to spur you on to other ideas. But also just the power of these masterminds that are available to you for free. It's just a matter of whether or not you decide to put it on your schedule and attend and benefit from them. The Monday morning mastermind, there's the solo agent mastermind on Thursdays, all these free coaching sessions that are taught by people that are closing over $100 million in volume a year. And so it's just a matter of whether or not you decide to benefit from it. Quick side piece on the EXPCon. I'm not going to EXPCon, but I did sign up for the Fast Forward Movement little 5-hour session. What's my piece on those motivational events? They are very powerful networking. It's like kind of what you get what you put into it. So if you're over there talking to people, building those relationships, exchanging contact information, and then keeping those relationships going, it's going to be very powerful. If you are signing up for these events expecting to just show up and then walk away, and all of a sudden your pipeline, your production is going to go through the roof, probably not going to happen. You might go home, feeling really motivated about the motivational speeches that you listen in on, and then nothing's going to happen. After a couple of weeks, you're going to be like, well, I wasted $1,000 on that conference, and now business is lower because now I'm bummed that I'm not seeing the results that I wanted to see. But if you go to those things, take notes, follow up with those people that are offering to help you out with your business, it can be very beneficial. Same thing with these coaching sessions. throughout the week, Monday morning mastermind, all the other ones already mentioned, the ones that are posted in the general chat in Slack that are available to you. So enough on that. We'll jump into our on the spot practice with doing a buyer's consult. So I could provide you with a script, but there's a million scripts out there that you could use for a buyer's consultation. You might have one that you've already been practicing. You're more than welcome to use that. But this is your opportunity to see what comes to your mind and what holes do you have in your understanding of how to do buyer consultation? Do you know anything about it? This is your opportunity to be on the spot, because these opportunities will come up out of nowhere, and you can start building that mental framework for what you're going to say when that opportunity comes up. The general framework that I'll give you, I summarized it into our PPA. So it's going to be rapport, pain, which is short for pain points, pre-approval, and appointment. So in aviation, memorizing checklists, memorizing emergency procedures that you have to know by heart, that somebody, if something happens, you have to immediately be able to recall that information. You come up with these little frameworks for remembering these things so that it just happens without you realizing it. So this is an easy way to remember that: rapport, pain, pre-approval, and appointment. And so if you memorize that and practice it, when you encounter somebody that you're having a conversation with, build rapport first. So see how long you can go just building rapport. Just, hey, where are you from? What do you do? What's your family life like? What do you do for fun? What do you invest in? Like, the conversation will naturally lead to the topic of you helping them find a home. So then you find out their pain points. Why do they want to buy a home? Do they need to buy a home? What size of home are they looking to buy? Why that size of home? Where are they looking to buy? And why are they looking to buy in that area? And so if you just focus on finding what that pain point is, then you can, you'll have questions will come to your mind to dig deeper into what they're looking for. And then the next one, it's definitely important, but it may not be as natural in that initial conversation with somebody, but you definitely want to get them in the direction of getting pre-approved, because you don't want to spend hours, showing them all these different properties and talking to them all of these techniques for negotiating and renovating their home. And then you find out that they filed for bankruptcy last year and there's no way they're going to buy a house right now. So pre-approval. And then the last one is appointment. Set that next appointment, because you can have this phenomenal conversation. You guys hit it off. You have so much stuff in common. They're totally pumped about buying a house. And then they're fired up to knock out the pre-approval process. Like, everything goes perfectly smooth. And then you end it with, oh yeah, well, it was great talking with you. I'm excited to help you out. So we'll talk again in the near future. And then a week goes by. Maybe you follow up with them after a few days, and that's the good thing to do. And you start to establish like what's the next steps. But chances are you're going to forget about it because you're going to get busy with other things. And a week will go by. You follow up with them a week and a half later, and you're like, hey, yeah, just following up, see how the pre-approval is going, and see if you want to start checking out some homes. And they're like, oh, wow, thank you so much for following up with me. I actually am shopping around with a realtor and things are going pretty good, but I'll let you know if things don't work out. And you're just like, bro, what happened? We had we clicked so well. I was looking forward to helping you, and now you're working with another realtor. Gosh dang. So don't let that happen. Set the appointment at the end of that initial conversation. They might say, let me talk to my wife. Let me look at my schedule, all that stuff. But the technique that you'll hear that's helpful for that kind of situation is it's easier for me to take you off my schedule than to add you onto my schedule. So I'll go ahead and pencil you in for Wednesday at 8 a.m. If that doesn't work for you, please let me know. But if not, then I look forward to seeing you Wednesday at 8 a.m. And then you reinforce your professionalism by sending them a calendar invite whether that's on Google Calendars or Calendly or even just a text message. Hey, this is the time, date and time we're meeting. Something to kind of seal the deal in writing that this is when we are planning on meeting. And then, yeah, so that's the general framework. Ryan asked, can I share my follow-up call with my lead? May help. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
So I got a lead the other day going on base, taking care of some VA stuff. And there was a young Marine that was talking about wanting to buy a house, long story short. And so I followed up with him. Come to find out, he wants a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and he wants to rent. And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, so we went from buying to rent. So how can I? Well, my first thought is like, how can I transition? How can I pivot to give him the support that he needs, and he still thinks of me down the road? So that was my first like initial thought. My second one was like, all right, so now I know what he wants. And I know through further discussion, the reason why he just wants to rent out here is because he wants to buy his mom a house back in Massachusetts, in Boston, because I guess that's what he feels inclined to do. And so he's trying to figure out how to do that. Now, I know he's got BAH. BAH is really good out here. I'm pretty sure I can get him. My thought is, okay, how do we make this work? How do we get him what he wants? And maybe, facilitate that. How can I facilitate that for him? And, even if there's no money in it, I don't care at this point. It's just like fun, just filling out what to do with a lead because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, the first thing is, okay, I established that he can't use the VA loan, right? Because he can't buy it for someone else. He has to have it as a primary residence. So I think that we check that off. I know he's got debt he's working on, but I'm thinking if he's got BAH of say 2,500 in California, we get him in a rental for say less than 2. I don't know if he's going to have any money left over to really help his mom buy a house. And really, what does that look like? Like, how do I hand that off to another agent, say in Massachusetts? Like now that makes me look bad because one, I'm pretty sure he's not going to get pre-approval. Like, so I guess right now I'm just saying, hey, I'm sharing the story. I feel like I did a couple things right, but then I was like kind of hung up and just want some feedback, and I think it'll help the group. So what do you think, Czar?
Yeah, that's a great situation. So one thing I want to touch on is you can, end of the day, any interaction you have with an actual human being that actually wants to rent or buy whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's free practice. Even if nothing comes from it, it's practice with an actual person instead of chair flying it with your buddy in the program or your wife or whatever. So at the end of the day, free practice. But for that specific situation, another thing is, like you said, so this person keeps me in mind down the road. On Facebook groups, people are always like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a rental. And like, hey, here's my information. I'll set you up with a free rental search. So that's getting my name out there. Maybe they down the road, somebody else is moving here. Like, oh, I know this great realtor. He was super helpful. He helped me find a rental, even though I get nothing from it. He helped me find a rental, talk to this guy. And then that person, maybe I help them buy or sell. So there's also value there. And then, so for the specific situation, you can communicate to him how you can ask him. A lot of it's like asking questions so they can understand the situation themselves instead of you having this idea of what's going to work for them and trying to smash it into their brain. So you can ask him, so when are you planning on buying this home for your mom? Like, are you actually expecting to buy it within the next 6 months to a year? Because if you're not, if you buy your house here, you can put that money, it's not going to be a 1-for-1 exchange on your BH, but you can put money into your equity. So then once you PCS from here, and if you're not planning on buying that house within the next 6 months to a year, which doesn't seem realistic based off of the kind of money you're working with, the price range in Massachusetts. And so a way you can make it possible to get your mom a nice home is buying a house here, building the equity. And then you go and sell that home and take that equity, transfer it to a property for your mother. That's just one idea. Anyone else have ideas on that?
Yeah, Joe brought up a good point, house hacking. I love that idea. He's married, but he's young, so I think it's definitely a possibility. He doesn't have kids, so great point.
Hey, Ryan, and those are the questions. That's exactly what I was thinking about is, what's driving him to a 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment versus a house? And when he was looking at houses, what size house was he looking at? I mean, maybe there's a reason there, and maybe he's like, hey, you know what? I'm a newlywed, or we've got a baby on the way or something like that. So we need kind of our own private space. Then that kind of opens the door to, okay, well, maybe a single family home isn't the best. Maybe it's like a duplex style thing where you live in one side and the other side produces the income that will then not only potentially pay for their mortgage, but could also give them cash in pocket or a cash flow necessary to buy a place in Massachusetts. So there's a ton of options. I would just keep asking those questions and see what it takes to really help them see the bigger picture. Because I think I get excited when I hear stuff like that. So it's good stuff.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, there's lots of different ways to skin in. Educating the person of the options that are out there is actually the key, because they probably walked away from that initial conversation and talked to somebody in their chain of command, or some other person in their unit and their sphere of influence, and that person was like, "Oh, buying a house, bad idea. So and so bought a house. They're broke now, and they almost died because they bought a house." Something ridiculous. And so just keep that in mind. Like, the people that are around them are uneducating them. They are telling them all the bads, all the things to be fearful of. And so you have to it's kind of an uphill battle sometimes. You got to educate them on all the different, and show them. Don't just use words. Show them, here's the VA loan manual. It says right here, you can't buy with your VA loan in Massachusetts, but you can buy here. It also says that this money is tax-free. Your BH is tax-free. Here's the stats on the market. I don't know why I raised my hand. Here's the stats on the market for the area. This is what it's more than likely going to appreciate at. And here's the stats for where your mom lives. Prices are going to continue. If you're planning on saving that $1,000 a month from renting for a lower price, and you're going to put that money towards your mom's property, that $1,000 every year is going down because the value of the dollar is going down. So you think by next year, you're going to have, $12,000 saved up from saving $1,000 a month. That $12,000 that was going to be enough for like a 10% down payment on a house is not going to be enough, because home values is going to go up and the value of the dollar is going to go down. But yeah, so let's jump into, do you have any saving rounds? Right.
Yeah, could I jump in? I was actually just writing out a lot of what you guys were putting out. So Joe, thanks again, man, killing it, and Zohar. But I was just writing down this, and it came to my mind. It really hinges on like what his timelines are, and what I was thinking was like piggybacking what Zohar said. Use the BH now, get the VA loan, get equity built in, because if you can buy her the house when he PCSs, they can potentially live together. Again, he owns the house, his mom's taken care of, she lives with him. So that creates a potential for that. With also, I could add in, hey, look, is there some sort of like hardship she's facing? Is she in a bad rental right now, in a bad house right now? What does she have? Like she might have a house that just needs to be sold or something. Like maybe there's equity there. Or maybe she's in a bad rental and just needs a better landlord or better location, or a bigger location. I don't know, but we could possibly put his money into a VA loan, no money down. He's young Marine, married, house hack here, build that equity empire, get her into a better rental. If that means just providing her an extra $1,000 a month, that's totally doable versus trying to buy her a house right now. I don't know. That just came to my mind.
Yeah,
I also think about, there's the potential that you'd want to steer them towards something like, hey, you get 2,500 in BAH in California. Let's look at something around that. But I think with him having money that he wants to send to Massachusetts at some point, or at least have money going that way, I think it's almost easier to, really kind of steer him towards the lower end of the market here in California. Nothing's really low, but I think that's more important so that he can actually have that peace of mind knowing, hey, I am actually saving money towards this Massachusetts property. It kind of helps him plan. I would also ask, he's a younger Marine. If he's able-bodied, is he open to those kinds of places where you might get in at the lower end but have to do a little sweat equity to bring the property up to something that he really wants to live in with he and his family. Of course, there's always that concern with VA loans. Is it going to pass appraisal? Is it going to have issues that the VA is going to say, no way, you're not going in and doing some flip. But just something to think about.
Yeah, that was kind of where it felt like there was wiggle room to figure this one out for him, because he even said, I asked him, why do you only need a 1-bedroom, or why do you want that small? He was like, it's just so expensive out here. I don't need that much. He said he doesn't need that much. He wants to provide for his mom. So that's what he cares about. So as long as we address that, he's willing to house hack is a great idea, because he's saying right up front, I don't need much for myself. So how can we make this happen? So there's a lot of room.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we're going to kick it off. We're going to break up into 4 groups. There's going to be about 5 people in each group. One person will be the lead, the person that's maybe going to buy, maybe going to rent. That's for the realtor to find out. Other person's going to be the realtor, and just have that conversation. And again, the framework, you don't have to follow any kind of framework, but if you need some kind of thing to work with, there's that rapport, pain, pre-approval, and then setting that next appointment. All right, and we're going to do 5 minutes, and then we're going to bring it back into the main group, do a quick powwow on lessons learned, and then break back out for another 5 minutes, and then we'll be done for the day. Any questions? All right, breaking you out now. All right, welcome back, folks. How'd it go? Any feedback, Roger?
I always get picked on. We had a issue with the microphone, so we only got to get to 2 minutes into it.
Okay. Anybody else? Have lessons learned?
We kind of got cut off.
Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Zor.
No, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump in for a second. Those guys in my group were doing really well. I wanted to remind everybody also, for the good of the group, about CalVet. And this is the drum that I always beat around here in California. We were talking about lenders in the previous group, and CalVet is, if you're not familiar with it already, you might be if you're going through the mandatory online classes, but definitely look at it, especially if you're trying to help somebody find a house, because they can get a mortgage 1% lower than the going rate usually, and there's a ton of other benefits. Question came up in our last role play session about lenders not approving people who are trying to house hack because they don't have experience in landlording, and the other guy was correct. That's not true at all. You just need to find a better letter and look into CalVet also.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. So folks in California, check out CalVet. Somebody has a link or contact information for that, please drop it in the chat or drop it in the in Slack, California.
I'll throw it in there real quick.
Thank you.
there's also, I mean, the potential that, let's say you wanted to house hack something, but you have no landlord experience. You're a brand new Marine, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing as a landlord. I mean, you can hire a property manager to come in and manage the whole property for you, and then in essence, you're just living rent free. As Nicholas put it in our group, they're putting money in your piggy bank, so you may as well take the free money.
So I actually want to comment on the conversation about not having the lending approved for that, because I actually recall the conversation wasn't regarding house hacking. It was actually regarding buying a duplex, triplex, fourplex. Because yes, you might be approved under the VA loan, like, rules and regulations. However, that was what they told me was the hang up back when I tried to look for it. Multiple property.
Yeah, no, that's just an example of a bad lender. A lot of the times it might not necessarily be like the lending agent or the whatever they want to call it at the bank. It might not be their fault. If you go to a bank like Navy Federal has their own set of regulations in addition to the regulations of the VA that makes it much more difficult to get approved by Navy Federal to purchase a home. So that's an example of where you might get just totally shut down by like that lender. But then you go around to say just a mom and pop, or not a mom and pop, but a much smaller bank, and they don't really care, right? They're gonna sling loans as best they can, and if they have to bend the rules a little, if they have to make things fit, they will, because they need the money, whereas Navy Federal does not. So you can get into some kind of gray areas where the VA maybe doesn't write the rules in black and white, and banks like Navy Fed, they're going to err on the side of caution. Smaller banks, they're going to do what they have to do. So it just really depends. Just shop around and find a lender that will give you that loan and give you a good rate and good service. Like I said, if you ever need one, like hit me up. I know a bunch. And they are always looking to lend money, especially when inventory is this tight and their interest rates are this high.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. Even whatever kind of credit situation, whatever it is, if someone's committed to making it happen, it might be a long, painful process, but there's a way to do it. Another thing is, everybody probably had somebody in their unit that like their favorite saying was, well, what does the pub say? Whatever it was, like, what does the pub say? Can we do this? I don't know. What does the pub say? And so keep that in mind, because you'll encounter people, lenders, builders, whatever, that say, oh, well, in my experience, you can't do that. It's like, actually, I know you can do that because the pub says you can do it. And so if you encounter just like on a very vanilla, basic type of VA loan, and somebody's like, oh, you can't do that because you have to have landlord experience. Like we've already learned here, you can hire a landlord. Yes, you have the expense of paying the landlord now, but you're still going to be making a lot more money off of that duplex, triplex, quadplex than a single family home. So it would be worth, if somebody's willing to take on that responsibility, it'd be worth to go that route, hire the property manager, pay the monthly fees, and then go from there, instead of just missing out on that educational opportunity and financial opportunity. All right, anything else? We'll break out one last time, see what other kind of good ideas come from it. We'll make this one just 4 minutes. Opening rooms now. Welcome back, folks. How'd it go, Angel?
It went well. Yeah, we had questions on rates and affordability. So that was a concern. I was thinking that people are going to start asking, like, once I get my license, I'm pretty sure people are going to start asking these questions. Like, I hear it all the time when people are talking about already, like, how am I going to be able to afford a house when the rates are so high? Or so I decided, as the buyer in our situation, to ask these questions. And then I was working with Dennis, and he guided me to different possibilities, saying that I can go further out, maybe find something cheaper. Of course, I brought up the idea also of bringing up a duplex or triplex because it's so expensive. Maybe that could offset the prices, especially here in California where it's low pricing.
Yeah, it's a great point. On the Monday morning mastermind yesterday, John Pugh talked about this kind of the same topic of rates. And instead of trying to convince that person that they can afford that higher interest rate and the price range that they're looking at, yeah, tell them to explore other areas, and educate them on the opportunity that they're missing out on by buying that slightly smaller home in the not as desirable area, owning that, building equity over the year that they would be renting, and then putting that value towards another house when maybe rates go down, maybe they don't, but they at least have that equity to work with now. And then another good point he made is like us as realtors, if we're struggling because of the rates, because of these people that are maybe qualify for 500K, but they're shopping in the 700K price range, maybe we should do some more prospecting for folks that are shopping in the higher price range and are able to handle the rates. I know that's with military, we're kind of fixed with our folks that were what they're shopping at, but yeah, just some ideas. Thank you for sharing that, Angel.
Zora had a EXP question. So I know with other brokerages and pretty much any job related to sales, you typically have a lead organizing program. So like a program that you can put your leads into, their information, and they'll like send you reminders on when to follow up with them and whatnot. What do we have for EXP?
So we have KD Core.
KD Core? Is that in my little?
Yeah. So when you go to EXP Enterprise and you log in, it'll have all little buttons, and one of them will be KD Core. And you set up your CRM, your client relationship manager. One of the cool things that people don't realize about it is you can, I forget the type of file name, but you can pull all your contacts from your phone onto your computer as I think it's like .exe or something. It's not Excel, it's something else. It's on Google, YouTube videos on how to do it. You pull that file from your phone onto your computer, and then you upload it to KV Core, and there's some virtual assistant that will actually input all that stuff into your CRM instead of you manually trying to transfer from your phone to your CRM. And yeah, there's tons of classes on how to use it because there's so many different levels within that program. Campaigns where like you said, tells you, all right, it'll automatically send a text message day one, hey, nice talking to you, let's grab coffee tomorrow. Next day, email, hey, here's a property that might fit your situation. So there's like these scheduled things like that, and then it'll remind you on the third day, call this person, all that stuff. And then there's ads you can pay for. Most of the stuff is free, and once you master the free stuff, then I'd recommend venturing out into the stuff you pay for. But there's a lot in there. It's KD Core.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Your monthly expenses.
And we won't have access to that until we're officially onboarded, as Joe was pointing out. Is that why I don't have access yet? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear back word for that, I guess.
For your license transfer?
Yeah, I think I transferred it like when we talked. I finished it that night. Okay. Is it normally like a week turnaround or?
It can be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard anything back
about it. Yeah. Any other lessons learned from folks from the practice buyer's consultation? Alrighty, I'll stick around for a few more minutes. You're welcome to leave. Thanks for coming. Hope you gain something from this little conversation. Have a wonderful day. Aloha. See you, Angel.
Have a good one.
Hey, Zora actually had a question. So I'm looking into the like I'm looking for a place to buy in the Chattanooga area, and